All right, welcome. It's your man, God of Dots. We are back, man. Back. It is Thursday. It's almost the week. And make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. Like to get the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. We'll be putting together the kickback before kickoff. We'll have, I got some material to kind of work with. Yeah, some material to kind of work with. I like to find ways to twist it and do something with it. Brother of a Certain Age was good. Dr. Nikki was happening. We are here. Brother. Hey, I've been busy. It's been a busy week, man. Been a busy week. So busy, in fact, that typically show I do in the other space. I typically, we were doing it every 2 weeks, but due to circumstances that's happening this week, and if I gotta explain it to you, where have you been? We will be going live this Saturday. So get ready for that. We got a lot to talk about with that situation. But we're here, for the NFL, for the football, for the sports, and I'm kind of get it out as best as I can, give you my thoughts and opinions, because I was setting up the show earlier, and I was like looking at the schedule, and I was like, I said, yeah, some good games, and I started thinking about what could be, potential, there's potential storylines coming out of week 3. And I'm like, man, is it too early to be talking about must-win games? Is it too early to be talking about do or die, season-making games in week 3? When I kind of look at the schedule, not so much so. It's some, it's a lot of good games. We'll talk about it. I give my picks, my opinions. For those who are coming in watching Jets and Patriots, last I checked, Jets was up 7-0 over the Patriots. It's one of those games, and we want talking about it at the beginning of the season, Patriots being in the conversation, but this is a good game in regards to the power structure in the AFC East right now. Buffalo was sitting on top. Miami is we'll talk about them. I don't know what the plan is with them going forward. And then you got the Jets. In a situation, one of those teams that's a popular pick for a possible division winner, playoff team for some people. And the Patriots, surprisingly, have played very good football through the start of the season, much better than a lot of people, including myself, anticipated them playing. But hey, if you open, matter of fact, Justice scored again. NFL season already over. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother of a certain age. Well, you are a Giants fan. Look, man. And you've been a long time listener and supporter of the show. A couple seasons ago, I was, in the words of Tyra Banks, I was rooting for you. I was rooting for Daniel Jones. I thought Daniel Jones was having a pretty good season, but not so much so. And I think the pressure is on not only Daniel Jones, but the rest of the organization. But we'll talk about that as we get closer to breaking down their game this week. But I want to start off with, of course, I'm gonna talk about the boys. I'm talking about the Cowboys. But when I looked at the schedule, this was one of the games I circled to kind of see where my team was at, and this is one of those games. We were talking about Cowboys, Ravens, big week 3 matchup. Big week 3 matchup in regards to where their seasons could possibly go. And I'm talking about both teams. You're talking about Baltimore, who's had 2 very good games, but lost both of those games, who are now 0-2 coming into this game at the Cowboys, in need of a win. I think the best thing about them, and this is probably the only silver lining I can give Baltimore Ravens fans right now, Pittsburgh is 2-0, but Pittsburgh is a 2-0 that's not really scaring anybody or putting any fear in anybody's heart that they're going to run away and win this division in that fashion. But Baltimore is in a must-win situation. But when you look at the team on the other side of the ball, the Dallas Cowboys, look, after the thumping that we just took against the New Orleans Saints, getting blown out at home, and our defense not being up to the task of slowing down the hottest offense in the NFL through the first 2 weeks, the New Orleans Saints. I got to look at, Dallas's, this is a kind of a prove-it game, a must-win game. This is one of the best teams in the NFL, regardless of what, their record says currently. And I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens, but this is a must-win. I think the pressure, this is probably the most pressurized game. Most when we're talking about potential stakes, potential storylines coming out of this. Can you imagine what the headlines read? Lamar Jackson comes out the gate. Baltimore, a popular pick to make it to the Super Bowl, was my pick to be the AFC representative. They come out of this game 0-3. And it's not like these are fluke losses. You lost to the Chiefs first week. Came down to the wire. Lost against the Raiders. Came down to the wire. If you go down 0-3, albeit all three of the teams that you could potentially lose to, if you lose to Dallas this weekend, all three of those teams are looked at as playoff teams. So there's nothing to hang your hat about, but it's gonna look bad. That you can't beat the good teams. Then that is a mark of a good team. They find ways to win those games against other competitive and good teams. But Dallas, this is not a game to be taken lightly. Yes, Baltimore's coming in 0-2. Offenses look kind of herky jerky. Look like they're going through some things early in the season. But you cannot take this team lightly. Baltimore is a team that can get out there, get after it defensively. The run game is still the run game, and Dallas has shown they have struggled with the run games going all the way back to last season. And it's continued. If you watch the Saints game, the Saints did a lot of their damage in the run game and off the play action, that kind of stuff. Your brother would say, "Come on, man! I know you were sitting back enjoying the beatdown of them boys, being a Giants fan, but don't get too comfortable because we're on your schedule twice, and I'm confident enough to say by the time we get to you guys at whatever point the season that is, we are going to clearly be the favorite, and I'm going to enjoy when we smash you again, like we have been smashing you over the last couple of years. But back to this game here, Baltimore's I think they got to come out. I think they're going to come out very aggressive to get that run game started because they know that Dallas can be had on the ground. Try to get out into an early lead because you don't want to fall behind. And I'm gonna say this to Baltimore Ravens fans and anybody that plays the Dallas Cowboys. This is not a defense that is made to go blow for blow with a team. But if the Cowboys are able to get a lead, 7 to 10 points, and able to sustain that lead, this defense can get after it. And as athletic as Lamar Jackson is, Dallas has some athletes on the other side. And your passing game, and I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens, your passing game has not shown thus far this season to be able to complement the strong running game that you do have. Now, and as a Cowboys fan, I got to be concerned. Derrick Henry has been okay at the start of the season, but this is a defense. You can run against them. If Alvin Kamara can get 100 yards, I think a combination of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry can do the same. So this is, like I said, must win for me, in my opinion. Early season tilt here. This is a must win for both of them. Dallas, if you lose, you fall to 1-2, which is, you're in the NFC East, you can still recover from that. But if you go out there and get smashed again, especially at home after getting smashed by the New Orleans Saints, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. I mean, they're going to talk about you whether you win or lose anyway, but it's going to be a problem if you go out there and lose. And Baltimore's under that same pressure. This is a team that was picked to go to the Super Bowl by a lot of people. You can't start the season 0-3. You cannot start the season 0-3 now. It's you still have enough time to right the ship. Get it right if you win. And make the playoffs. But 0-3. And when we're talking about how competitive the AFC is, this is not a game you want to fall too far behind the teams that are currently undefeated in the AFC, namely looking at you, Kansas City. You don't want to fall too far behind them when we're talking about home field advantage, because that is shown to be a very big thing, especially in the AFC, when we're talking about a team having home field advantage throughout the playoffs. So pressure's on you, Baltimore. Pressure's on you, Dallas. I think it should be a very good game. Of course, I'm picking the boys. But I think it'll be a very good game. I'm expecting, Baltimore to come out with a much more urgency in this one. What's going on, Spot? Hey, beautiful. How you doing? Yeah, I'm expecting it to be a very good game. The intensity level is kind of up. This is one of those games you circled anyway. But like I said, Baltimore in need of a win. Dallas also in need of a win after getting smashed. Stay tuned for that one. That is an afternoon kickoff on Sunday. Looking at some of these other games where we're talking about, what could possibly be on the line. I'm looking at the 49ers and the Rams. Rams, it wasn't my pick to win the division, but at the same time, they have played the 49ers very well over the past couple of seasons, and the 49ers have been battling injuries. We've already talked about it previous episodes. Christian McCaffrey being out, Taco Debo Samuel being out, other guys are showing nicks. Debo is, expected to play. He said he's expected to play. But I look at this as, another must-win kind of a game. San Francisco has not looked good after losing, especially to the Minnesota Vikings this past week. Didn't look good. And the pressure is kind of building because, hey, you've heard the talk. This is the most talented team in the NFC, and it's kind of hard to dispute that when you look at the roster. But they haven't looked like the 49ers team that was out there last year, running amok through the NFC. And this is a early test. I think I'm going 49ers just because even though they're battling injuries with some of their top players being out, same can be said for the Rams, who are out, will be without their top two receivers. Matthew Stafford is capable of getting the job done with lesser talent, but when you talk about the two receivers that they're missing, I'm talking about Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. That is kind of a tall hill to climb against still a very good and very talented 49ers defense. I got 49ers in this one, man. I got 49ers in this one. I just think, defensively, they're going to be able to give the Rams problems. And as much as I like the Rams, I picked them to be in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. Yeah, 49ers also coming out with a sense of urgency. Want to set the tone not only in the division but also in the conference. That, hey, we're still in the conversation for the best team in the NFC, regardless of what teams like the Saints and the Buccaneers have done to start the season. We're still the team to beat, and I think they're going to come out also with a sense of urgency, try to smash a team that is battling injuries at very key positions, not only a wide receiver but also along that offensive line. This is a game, I expect San Francisco to come out very aggressive, try to get them up out of here early, man. Get them up out of here early, but it's a division game. You never know. And that's how it kind of works in football. But I got 49ers in this one, even though they're on the road. I got 49ers in this one, taking care of business on the road, taking care of the Rams team, and reestablishing themselves in the conversation of being the best team in the NFC. But we'll see. You guys know me and my picks, man. Sometimes they right, sometimes they wrong. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Speaking of must-win, do or die type games, early season tilts, you got Saints, the hottest offense in the NFL at home, welcoming in the Philadelphia Eagles, who come off a nail biter of a loss to the Atlanta Falcons. Oh man, this might be must-see TV. And this might be must-see TV for the reasons you may not think. I think this might be an opportunity with the nation really paying attention to what they got going on down there in New Orleans. This team has scored on every possession, has not punted the ball yet, going up against a Eagles defense that can be had. Has not been able to generate a solid pass rush, and still has issues in the back half of that secondary. Jalen Hurts, the offense looks so much different without AJ Brown out there on the field. This is one of those kind of a statement type games early in the season. Like I said, you can still recover. If Philadelphia loses, they fall to 1-2. Could still be, in control of the division lead. It's still early in the season, but this is a statement game. The Saints come in very hot. Going to be at home. All eyes will be on them. Can they continue at this offensive pace? I don't think so, but I fully expect the offense to do what it's been doing for the first 2 weeks of the season, and that's produce scoring drives. Maybe not all of them as we move forward. I do think they might have a hiccup or two in this one. I'd be surprised if they score on every possession in this game. But stranger things have happened. But I think the Eagles need a win. just much as the Saints need a win. Hey, you beat up a Cowboys team. You go out here and you smash Philadelphia. We're having a very different conversation about the hierarchy in the NFC. If you're able to pull that off in back-to-back weeks, the Saints will really be taken have to be taken serious as a potential NFC contender. I mean, they have the pieces, have a very solid defense, a run game, has a quarterback. As much as people have been down on Carr, Carr is still a capable enough quarterback to win in this league. He's still capable. So I'm like I said, this is early season implications, and you notice, most of the games I've kind of touched on have been NFC because right now it's a lot of uncertainty. If you ask somebody who's the best team in the NFC, if you're just going to go off the first two games of the season, you would have to say Saints, but Buccaneers would have to be in that conversation. But it'd be kind of hard to overlook the teams that have been steadily at the top of this conference. Namely looking at Cowboys, Eagles, and 49ers, and looking at them like time has passed them by. So, hey, this is a very big game as far as the hierarchy in the NFC. I got Saints, man. I got Saints at home. I think it'll be a very, I don't want to say low scoring game, but it's not one of those games I see being 35-31. I don't see that much scoring. I think Philadelphia is going to really need to lean on their run game. I expect a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley for the ball control. Time of possession is going to be key. Possession is going to be key during this game. But I got Saints in this one. I got Saints. Good old H2O. As we look at the rest of the schedule, let me take another peek. Is it any other games that jump out at me and pique my interest? Hey, we got the Sunday night game, the primetime Sunday night game, Chiefs at the Eagles. Listen, 3 weeks ago I wouldn't have been talking about this, but hey, this is another one of those games. Kirk Cousins got into a rhythm against Philadelphia. I expect him to continue to progress as he recovers from his injury, but this is this is kind of a statement game for the Falcons. Kind of see where the Falcons really are. You beat a Philadelphia team, but we are talking about the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, who, although being undefeated, questionable calls, very close calls, and we could be talking about this team being 0-2. Kansas City has done enough to win, and that at the end of the day, that's all you have to do. But I don't think anybody has walked away from either of those games they had against the Baltimore Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals and looked at, Kansas City being the creme de la creme of the AFC. I don't think anybody's walked away with that notion, but that, at the same time, your record is what your record is, and you're undefeated right now. But you're on the road playing against the Atlanta Falcons, who I expect to be very hyped up, coming off the big Philadelphia win. They have the pieces to take advantage of a Kansas City defense. I think they'll be able to move the ball in the same similar fashion that Cincinnati was able to move the ball. If you look at Atlanta's roster and you compare it to what Cincinnati has, they have a much better offensive line. I think the running game has the potential to be more have much more impact than Cincinnati's, and Kirk Cousins, if he's able to take advantage of a Kyle Pitts, a Drake London, and Darnell Mooney, this might be one of them ones. This might be one of them ones, but it's hard for me to pick against Patrick Mahomes. I think Chiefs win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. I don't think people are giving the Atlanta Falcons defense the credit that they deserve. The focus has been on the offense, but you look at the defense. The defense has played well. They play well enough to be for this team to be 2-0. Even though they lost week 1 to Pittsburgh had to score on all field goals. So be on the lookout for that. That is it's a lot of intriguing storylines in these matchups this week, and that is another one. Let's see, Jaguars and Bills. Just for the sake of Gator Girl, who was also a longtime listener, supporter of the show. Jacksonville coming into this not looking good, but this is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team that when they're able to put it together for full 4 quarters, can play with anybody. I got a feeling. This might be, um, and I know she's going to hate me picking her team, but I got a feeling Jacksonville shows up for this game on the road at Buffalo and surprises some people. I don't think I think Jacksonville is too talented. In certain spots, that I just got this weird feeling in my spirit that Jacksonville is going to take this one. I think Jacksonville is going to take this one. Buffalo has looked pretty good at the start of the season, but nothing to put fear in anybody's heart as far as like what they do offensively or defensively. They can be had. Uh, you play, you beat up on Miami, but that game was a weird one anyway. It was a weird one anyway, but Buffalo hasn't looked like they're dominating. This is a game I think Jacksonville gets it together because, like I said, they've had stretches so far this season through the first 2 games where they looked like one of the better teams in the AFC, but just haven't been able to put it together for a full 4 quarters. I got Jacksonville in this one. Brother was certainly Mahomes is moved into that air that if he doesn't win, it's a problem. It's not even that. No, I expect them to lose. During at different points of the season. But just it's kind of hard to when the money is on the table, it's kind of hard to bet against them. And I've been hearing the narratives, ever since last season, especially coming into this season, by some of the loving they get from the referees. I mean, it just kind of is what it is, man. Think about it. We're talking about the Chiefs getting love from the referees in the same vein we used to talk about the Patriots getting love from the referees during their stretch when they was winning championships. I mean, you just kind of in that air, that time period, man, when every call is magnified, and especially if it goes your way. But I mean, it comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. As we move forward, looking at some other games that should be interesting to watch if they're in your local viewing area. Let's see here. Cardinals and Lions. Lions on the road. Lions coming off a very tough loss against Tampa Bay. My Super Bowl pick. Arizona came out like gangbusters. Marvin Harrison Jr. had his first breakout game of the season. Cardinals are one of those teams I don't underestimate. I just, I think, talent wise is going to hold it back as far as the win-loss record at the end of the season. But Arizona, I got Detroit. Bouncing back in this one, but I think it'll be a very entertaining game. I think Detroit gets after Kyler Murray, causes him to make some mistakes, and I think a lot more focus will be put on Marvin Harrison in this matchup. But I think Detroit takes care of business. They get back on track. I don't think Arizona's defense is not in the same league as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think the offense kind of gets it together. I expect Jared Goff to have a big game, Amon-Ra St. Brown to have a big game. So I got Lions in this one. As I look at the rest of the schedule. Let's see here. Giants and Browns. Yeah, well, since brother of a certain age, this is his team. I guess I got to give him a little shine. Browns at home. I'm taking Browns at home. I listen. I'm with the rest of the Giants faithful. I am out on Daniel Jones. 6 years is enough. I don't think this situation is not conducive for him to be successful. He does have some pretty good wide receivers, namely number 1 pick Malik Neighbors, but Giants. I don't know why you let Saquon Barkley go. When your quarterback, the most success he had since he's been in the league is when Saquon Barkley was in the backfield. It just has not been the same for the Giants. On the road, Cleveland, understanding that, hey, you don't want to fall too far behind in the AFC. They take care of business. It may not be it may not be pleasing to watch. I expect a heavy dose of the run game from Cleveland. to take advantage of some of the deficiencies on that Giants defense. And granted, the Giants have played well in some spots at some positions, but Daniel Jones, man, I'm out, man. I'm out. Until proven otherwise, man, I'm out. I mean, 6 years, man, you haven't gotten better. And that's that's the critique I have of you. You haven't gotten better, and granted, the Giants really haven't really tried to put real talent beside you anyway. But yeah, I got Browns in that one. You have Texans, Vikings, which should be a very good game. Texans on the road against Minnesota. Do I take Minnesota in this matchup? Nah, I can't do it. I think Texas take care of business, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Vikings win. Vikings, one of those under the radar teams coming into the season. Sam Darnold has played pretty good thus far this season. Texans, I think, take care of business. I think their game against Chicago last week was kind of a wake up call that, hey, you can't just walk. You're not the Chiefs yet, where you think you can just walk out there and teams are intimidated by you, and you're already up 10 in their head. You're not there yet, but I do think the Texans take care of business. Should be a very good game. Early kickoff on Sunday for that one. You got Broncos, Buccaneers. I got Bucks in that one. Not too much to really kind of go into that one. Packers and Titans. I got Packers, Titans. You got a quarterback issue. Will Levis is not having a very good start to the season. And this offense has looked lost in translation to me. Lost in translation. I'm not sure what identity they want to be. I think, with those two running backs you have, Tajay Spears and Pollard, you should be more leaning towards the run and allowing Levis to take his shots off of play action. But hey, I'm not the head coach. But I got Packers in this one. Bears, Colts. I don't think this was going to be a very high-scoring game. Caleb Williams, he's a rookie, but he hasn't looked good. Anthony Richardson has looked good in spurts, but he still has issues with accuracy. So I'm not expecting a lot of points to be put up in this game here. I think the team that makes the fewest mistakes in regards to penalties and turnovers takes this one. It's kind of a toss-up game for me. Caleb Williams, like I said, has not looked good the first two games of the season. Has not really shown me that he's going to be this transcendent player that he was hyped up to be, but it's just 2 games in. But the offense hasn't looked good. Chargers, the Steelers at home. Justin Fields is kind of penciled in as a week 3 starter right now. Chargers, have looked okay. I've looked okay thus far this season, but I got Pittsburgh at home. I think Pittsburgh's defense is a little bit better than the Chargers, and I think Tomlin is starting to get more and more confidence in Justin Fields, and hopefully they allow him to really show his skill set as the season kind of progresses. I like Russell Wilson being a good, backup quarterback, being able to mentor him. But I got Steelers in this one. Steelers at home. Steelers go 3-0. Who would have thought? Dolphins, Seahawks. First game without Tua, I'm not sure what I'm getting from Miami, and for that reason, I got Seahawks at home. I'm not sure what I'm getting from Miami. I don't know what kind of mindset this team's going to come out in. Got a little confidence in the backup quarterback, but he ain't Tua as far as orchestrating this offense. And I think the Seahawks offense, is going to be able to put up enough points to win this game. So I got Seahawks at home. I got Seahawks. Jones is meh at this point. He needs to make a statement. No, I'm out on him, brother. Listen, I'm out on Daniel Jones. 6 years, man. And we talk about putting talent around young quarterbacks and that kind of stuff, but you've got the money. The expectation is for you. Hey, sometimes you don't have those superstar pieces around you. But he looks he looks like he doesn't have command of the offense when you watch him play. And that's scary that you got guys, undrafted free agents. I'm looking at you, DeVito, who came in last year and looked like he had a much better grasp of the offense than the guy that was getting paid $40 million. I'm just saying. All right, as we kind of get through and close out, because I do want to watch this Patriots game. Panthers, Raiders. I got Raiders at home. Panthers are a team and not going anywhere. Andy Dalton, first start. Bryce Young released his first statement since being bitch. Somebody, he's not gonna let this hold him back. Yada yada yada. Player talk, player talk, player talk. Looking at the rest of the games, last game on the list, Monday night game. I don't know how this became the Monday night game, but you got Commanders and Bengals. I got Bengals in this one. I like what I've seen. Thus far from Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback for the Commanders, but Cincinnati kind of showed that hey, we're still in that conversation when you talk about who's running things in the AFC. Even though they lost to the Chiefs, they're showing that hey, we're still one of those teams. We're still one of those teams, and I think they take care of business at home on Monday. I think that it covers all of them. I think I've covered all the games. Yeah, I got them all. A little bit of housekeeping before we get up out of here. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. We'll be doing a kickback before kickoff show. I do have some material to kind of work around. Y'all know me. I like to mix and mesh stuff, lead to a much broader conversation. I think y'all will like this. Of course, the Not a Sector show. We'll be doing that this weekend. Time permits, so we got a lot to talk about, no Diddy, no Diddy. But anyway, appreciate everybody taking the time out to listen to little old me. Like, share, subscribe, leave comments, and all that good stuff. And it's always around here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.